Hello and welcome to this video, and this video is called Why Musicians Fail. So let's be honest here, you just clicked on this, right? What do you expect? From a YouTube video, do you really expect me to tell you why you're failing as a musician? Well, I'm going to try my best, right? You're going to fail as a musician because of two things, because of two concepts, and I'm going to tell you them now. Firstly, the first reason why you will fail is this. Number one, the competition is too great. There is no point in trying because there's so many people out there trying to make it and you're just one amongst many, right? That's the first reason. The second reason why you're going to fail is because of this. You're not good enough. Right? Now, if that struck horror into you, it's meant to. Right? It is those two ideas that are going to make you fail. They're ideas. They're not true. They're not false. They're not anything. They're ideas that you carry around inside you, in your head, up here. You're carrying with you two things, and that's going to make you fail. And they are, I'll say them again, right? The competition's too great. Right? The competition's too great. There's too many people trying to do it. There's too much competition. You've got to get past them all. How do you get noticed? It's impossible. Millions of musicians trying to do it. That idea is an idea in your head and it's stopping you from succeeding. The second one is you're not good enough. You don't have enough skill. You listen to what you're doing. It doesn't sound great. You don't want to put stuff out there because the stuff you do is just not good enough quality to give you a seat at the table. Right? Those are two ideas that are in your head. Now, I told you it like this specifically so that you would get that feeling. If you're still watching now, because what were you going to do when you switched on to this video? Probably give me 2 minutes to try and save you, and then you were going to click onto something else if I hadn't done that. Well, I'm hoping you're still watching. Well, obviously, if you're watching still, you are still watching. Right? But I hope you are still watching and you're mulling over that thought. Those are ideas that are in your head. They're not true. Right? If you want to succeed as a musician, there's a lot of things you need to do. And I'm quite happy on this channel to give you my advice as a musician that's played for 40 years and as a music teacher that's helped develop loads, thousands and thousands of young musicians. I can give you my advice. But fundamentally, in this first video on this, right, this first video where I've tackled this subject, right, I really want to get across that is those two ideas. There's the starting point. You need to eradicate those from your mind. How do you do that? By realizing they're not true. They are things, ideas, they are concepts that are there. They are not true. Right? Now, I'm sure you're shouting, oh, that's not true, because there is a massive competition. Okay? Well, yeah, there's a lot of people trying to do music. How many of them are fogged by these two ideas? Right? Maybe switch on this video. I've just put you in a much smaller minority because I've told you a big secret. Okay? How many people have been able to get past those two ideas? Now, that suddenly shrinks down the competition, right? And we can carry on. How many musicians out there, know how to become a success? Now, that's another question. How do you become a success at music? Well, I could go into that here, but it would be a long video, and I'm planning on really getting into this as an idea. And if people want me to explain my concept, I will. But the truth is, the more you understand about how you succeed, what success is, what your personal parameters are, and once you are able to set those and work to those, you put yourself into a much smaller minority that wipes out the competition. And I tell you, the biggest thing that will do that is you analysing what is good. What makes music good. The more you can understand what makes music good and know that when you're making good music and what that is, the bigger chance you've got. And the thing is most musicians, 99% of musicians out there, haven't got a clue about that. Right? So that's the first way that we start to challenge. The second one, right, about skill not being good enough, well, this is perhaps easier to sort out, but psychologically a bigger hurdle for most of us to get over. You know, most musicians have some sort of self-loathing at their centre, right? They do music because it makes them feel better, but at the same time it makes them feel worse. I really want to get into this concept of self-loathing and how, when we listen to what we do, we measure it on how it gives the world an image of us. And if you have any sense of self-loathing, you will see faults in that. Now, what's incredible is that making music can actually be the thing that helps. It's the remedy to self-loathing. But so often that will cycle into, you know, a self-loathing hole, right? But what makes music good is not about how good music makes you look. It's something else entirely. And when people hear music, they respond to it in a number of ways, but at the centre of that is they respond to it emotionally, right? So the secret of being a good musician is being able to convey emotion to people. That's as simple as it can be put. I think musicians that can do that have the correct skill. Now, what skills do you need to do that? Well, it's up for grabs. Some musicians can require a great deal of skill to do it, and some musicians can do this with very little apparent skill, apart from the skill of being able to convey emotion. It changes from person to person. It cannot be measured, right? You cannot measure yourself. What you're measuring yourself against standards of perfection, not standards of what makes music good. It's two separate things. These two ideas need to be worked against. Musicians need to learn how to work against those ideas to free themselves. Once they're free to make music, they're in a much better situation to hopefully make some music that people like and that will give them some success so that they will succeed and beat the idea of failure. Of course, success is all entirely down to what you want to achieve as a musician. And have you given that any thought? Anyway, this short video, I just want to introduce this idea on this channel. If this has rung some bells, you know, put something in the comments and I will try and do some videos which really get into each of these areas that I've just been talking about. But I hope that's been some help. And remember, you know, the competition isn't necessarily as great as you think, right? And skill has nothing to do with it. So remember those things going forward. Thanks for listening, and hopefully I'll see you soon on the next video.